Order. We had executive session scheduled for first thing. Brittany got tied up, we won't be able to do that. I suppose we'll just table it till next month. It's nothing that we can't live with. Actually, it'll give the commissioners and everybody a little bit of chance to know what's going on tonight, and they can ask questions when they're going to the executive session. Changes to the agenda. Shell would like to add to new business discussion, new procedures for financial breakpoints for broken equipment. We put that probably what number, going with number 1 on it? Or no, new business.
Number 2.
Yep.
2?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Does anybody else have any changes? All right. Old business. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Quote from Horton for new ambulance. Scott, I'll let you handle that, you've been doing the legwork.
I don't have the quote with me, but, I don't know if you guys actually wanted the quote, because it was already decided, but I did contact Horton, and they have started the process of the new ambulance build process.
Okay.
So it's been ordered. He's still sending me the final stuff that we have to sign, but it's all in the process of getting done.
Did he say anything about a possibility of a demo again?
There's not one.
Okay. So we're looking at 18 months to 2 years.
He's thinking more like 18 months, but he said up to 2 years, but he thinks it'll be more close to 18 months.
All right.
We'll see.
Bruce, do you have the new agenda, or
I
are
don't
you
think he
working
does.
off of
I think
December?
I don't
he's
think-
going off the second one,
I
or
don't-
last week, or last meeting.
January 19th. Am I screwed up?
You're going off the minutes. You need to go
Okay.
off the agenda.
All right.
Yeah, you're good.
Give me straight one.
Okay, I gotcha.
So did, Okay.
Show what it is slapped.
that's how they got that right last
Huh?
to you tomorrow. Strategic planning questionnaires, did everybody get them turned in? Mine's sitting on the table, right?
They're not yet, but we're okay, and like I said, my goal would be, if I get it in time to put a presentation together, maybe by the next board meeting. If not, it would be in March that we would, sit down with the information. But yeah, if you have any of them, if you haven't turned it in, please do. If somebody still needs one, the new commissioners, did you guys get a copy of that? I would like if you guys would be willing to participate for your input on it, so. I've got a couple here, I'll just set at the end, you guys can take this and complete it if you would.
Thank you.
Mine's done, I just forgot to bring.
Yeah, not a problem, but if, yeah, folks can start funneling it in, and I can start consolidate the information.
Okay, funds for advanced EMT classes, Scott?
The funding process was all already done, but the EMT class has started. It started yesterday, so we are in process, finally. We
Cool.
have 14 students in the class.
They did
That's
get
what-
14.
The advanced EMT.
That's probably one of the bigger classes we've had for a while. That's good. Any from Mullen by any chance?
No, well, I don't think so. I
Okay.
think it's all District 1, District 2.
Okay,
That's for the advanced, right?
it's a good start.
Good deal.
You got everything okay then, all the books, everything's all?
Yep. Yep, everything we can need for the class we have.
Okay. Do you have anything on any of that, Jerry?
The only thing I have is what you gave me here.
For the books.
Yeah, so far.
New equipment purchases, traction splints,
The tracks and splints have arrived and are in service. We also got, some new backboard, straps that are in service as well. And then the other equipment for the ALS program that you guys approved, none of that is purchased yet. We're still working on getting accounts set up and what we need to do for that. And I did talk to, it's Melanie and, Ashley that are helping me order all this stuff from District 1. And a lot of the stuff for this is gonna be disposable equipment, like stuff that has expiration dates on it. So I asked, we're gonna hold off on ordering any of that until we get the licensure from the state. So the money's been approved for it, but we're not gonna order it, cause I don't wanna order it and then just have it expire on the shelf. So a lot of that stuff that was approved won't be ordered for a while. But right at the last minute before we submit, well, it won't be after we're licensed, it'll be right before we're licensed. But right when we have all the paperwork ready, we'll order it, cause we have to have it to submit. But I don't know how long the paperwork's gonna take, so I don't want it to sit there and expire.
alrighty. New business. Financial report, Jerry.
Okay, I sent out, I believe, 4 reports, 3 together, then 1 separate. Just quickly, starting with the balance sheet like I always do here. Really not much to discuss there. You can see on the very top of the balance sheet, our cash balance of $758,650, that's as of 12/31. Since then, we did make payment for the ambulance for $250,005. In addition, we had, as you can see down in the accounts payable, about $64,000. So about $314,000 going against that balance for things that will be paid in the month of January. And then once that payment is processed, we can turn in the component to get reimbursement for ARPA funds of $150,000, so we will have that coming back in. Any questions on that? The next document would be the profit loss statement that was sent out, and that's the one that gives us comparison to budget year to date. Again, I just highlight the high points if you guys have any questions. One of the items that popped out this month was our revenue for the month of December was $68,000. That was compared to a budget of $114,000. And then I gave an extra backup sheet, which is the one with the little yellow highlights and stuff on it. And this was just kind of a comparison to figure out what was going on. Compared to last year, you can see last year was $121,000. So initially made some calls out to Scott to see kind of what the issues were, pulled some transport data and some call data, thought maybe our volumes were just significantly down. If you look, that was not the case. That for 2021, we had 204 calls with 111 transports. For December of 2022, we had 210 calls with transports being 121. So we actually had more, so that wasn't the issue. When we dug into it, what we found was that at the end of December, there were 41 bills that had not been processed for the month of December, which is that's 34% of our bills. I talked to Scott, I know Scott's got on it today, but that's just something, again, I'm going to tell the chiefs that we really need to keep up on. That has a significant impact, and then, as you know, pushes us back to our collection time on anything that takes that long. Reviewed the report as of today, at least earlier today. We still had 41 unbilled calls out there, of which only about 7 of them were December, but we're sitting here now on the 19th of January, and we still have calls out from December. So definitely an area that needs to be worked on. Outside of that, if you look through all of the information between salaries and what was paid to the fire districts, really we were at budget. budget or under budget. We ended up with a bottom line of about $22,000. Even though we had low revenues, that was a reflection. Again, we are billing every month, or we are reporting every month, the $40,000 in taxes. So that was really just a reflection of that. Year to date, same thing. If you look at the very last page of the 3-page income statement, go 3 columns over to the very bottom, you'll see year to date, we're at $308,151, significant improvement from what we expected, but $250,000 of that is the dollars we received from the EMS Corp, which was something that we didn't know what we were going to receive or if we could truly expect from them. So that's the biggest variance inside of that difference. Any questions on any of that? And then an item I didn't send out, but, well, then there's the check listing, just so everybody has it. Again, if anybody had any questions on that. And then just to kind of give everybody here kind of a recap, I looked at our 12 months ending our fiscal year for last year, kind of looking at what our revenue stream was. We're 59% of our volume is coming from Medicare. 18% is coming from Medicaid. So 77% of our volumes come from Medicare and Medicaid patients. If you look at our payments received from Medicare, we get about 55% of what we bill to Medicare. That's their allotment, that's what we get paid. There still is a little bit that's trickling out there that would be copay and insurance that hasn't come in, but again, this is looking almost a year back, so most that's been collected is going to be collected on that. And then when you look at Medicaid, we get only 32% of actually what we bill to Medicaid based on their fee schedule. Again, nothing we can do about it, that's their fee schedule. If we want to participate, that's what we get paid. So when you look at the 77% of our volume comes from those 2 government payers. We collect about 49% of what we bill to them is all. Blue Cross makes up about 5% of what we bill, and we collect about 66% of what we bill from them. And then there's just a variety of little players out there that make up the difference, which is the other 18%. So, any questions? We just hadn't really discussed that. I know at one point we thought we were at about 70%. We're actually seeing 77% is between those 2 government payers, which we have no opportunity to negotiate, do anything different with.
You said Medicare would be about 45% of what we're doing?
Medicare is 59% of our volume.
So,
Is that the reimbursement?
Reimbursement based on this, we're at 55%.
we have visitors here. If you have questions, please speak up, raise your hand, and get our attention. We'll address it. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I missed how much EMS gave to us.
Pardon me?
EMS, the corporation, how much? they gave?
250,000.
250? Okay.
And if there's no questions, that's all I have.
Anybody else? I'm good.
We need a motion to approve this.
We need a motion.
I make a motion. I'll second Frank.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, I guess I'll probably have to handle this one. Service management or service maintenance agreement for Shoshone County Ambulance Service District vehicles. Shell and I finally tracked down a mechanic that was willing to work on it. Brittany's making up the contract. I was kinda hoping to have it to get it approved tonight so we can get things going. Zach Ayers, he is road supervisor for District 3. He graduated from our mechanic to the road boss. He's willing to take on the task. He able to do pretty much everything that we just had done on that ambulance as in Kellogg for Dave Smith. Brakes, ball joints, U-joints, etc. He quoted $50 an hour. One question I got, our Jerry already knows what I'm gonna ask, so. He didn't care how we paid. Jerry preferred paying once a month. So we'll have to keep a running total of hours or whatever for that. Scott, he's you're running the show. He's your man.
Okay.
And I will bring him down tomorrow and introduce you, and you guys can go from there.
Scott, you'll just need, have him create you an invoice, then you can, validate it and approve it and
Okay.
process
If
it.
anybody's got any questions, jump in. I mean, it's kinda nice, he's offered to do Pritchard Murray, if they're wanting to bring theirs over, he'll do theirs also, same rate. So, little headache off the chiefs and the crews, and he will schedule a walk through the vehicles with the personnel at the chief's discretion when they want it done. Whatever you need done, Scott, ask him. Anybody got any comments, questions? So just to update Mr. Dose, we've been having trouble with, it seems like when it rains it pours, we're down to 2 to 3 ambulances or less. So we've been mowing this around for a while. We decided to get a maintenance man on the books, he'll contract to us. And like I said, Scott will keep him advised, and whatever they decide is what law is. Unless you change it, you're the boss.
I'm here to learn.
Anybody's got any questions at any time during the meeting, please stop me and ask.
Has this already been approved yet by the commission?
No, it has not. The commissioners past approved it, but like I was talking with Dave before the meeting, that we will get this in writing and everything. Of course, we'll look it over and then we'll ship it up to the commissioners.
Okay.
So, on the same note, tires for the new ambulance have been ordered. They should be in Monday. And we will try to get them on ASAP. I believe John is gonna give a report on that, so. That's been done. I don't see the other one, so I'll just, while we're on tires, we went around, Stack and I went around last Friday, did an inspection on the equipment. We just, the night before, wasn't it, got the ambulance back with the new motor. We stopped here and inspected Pritchard Murray's, the new one, and the one they have in service. So we did find that 3 of the ambulances in service are getting low on tires, so we went ahead, talked with Jerry, we got 18 new tires for 3 new ambulances. We're going over tomorrow to get the ambulance with the motor problem that had, we ended up with an oil leak when we brought it back as we were inspecting it at Kellogg, so it didn't even get in service. We took it right back to Coeur d'Alene. So it will be back tomorrow, and one way or another, Scott will have it and be able to put it in service tomorrow. Hopefully we can get the new tires on it and it'll be good to go, and we can rotate another one out and get some tires changed. So, the reasoning we're doing the tires, they're not shot, but they're low. I mean, they're low enough that I feel that the gravel being put on the roads could poke holes in the tires. You know, just to that point. I don't want a chance an ambulance going down because of that. So, safety factor, upkeep. That's pretty much all on that. Okay. Jerry, you wanna handle this one? Discuss the bid for the new ambulance, you and Scott.
Well, Scott, you go ahead on where you're at in the process.
So, like I was saying, the new one that I was told to go ahead and get ordered was, the order's been submitted to Horton. I just did look up the bid on my email. That one's $291,399. That's an identical ambulance to the one we just got, other than the fact that it's a gas engine instead of a diesel engine. But otherwise, the bill's gonna be the same on those two. So, again, we're looking at, at least a year plus before we get it.
Does that come with the good tires? Or do we have to
Yeah,
take
that's one thing we should probably,
It might be, I don't know. We were talking about getting this one diesel, metal switch to gas, but the new one might be gas.
yeah, it is.
Is it gas?
This one out here is gas.
Okay, so they'll both be the same then, the same. already.
So, we need to discuss this good subject, Jim. Let's have them put good tires on to begin with. We can just get that one, then come in for the one we got, and you can kinda get an idea what they are. Then we don't have to shift them around. And you get the next column too. Anything else on new ambulance? Did everybody get to see the new ambulance? It's sitting down the hall, right through the end door. If you wanna look at it, please do. A little bit bigger, a lot more gadgets in it. A lot of storage. I was really impressed with that. No other questions? Go ahead, Scott, chief's report.
I think Chief Alma has most of the information for this.
Okay.
So again, we got the call volumes from comparing the last 3 months, October, November, December of 2021 and 2022. So just to kind of recap, this month, as Jerry said, we had a total of 210 calls. 89 of those were non-transport, and it left us with a total transport call of 121. So we had about 42% of our total calls were not billable, but that is still in alignment with last year. Our total calls for the year, we ended up with 2,369 calls for the entire year this year. Last year, we ended up with 2,204, so there was a little bit of increase there.
Every year, isn't it?
Goes up just a little bit every year.
Just a step every year. Any questions for Mark? Scott?
Yeah, otherwise, I'm basically going to get the advanced classes underway. I follow up with Jerry's discussion earlier about the billable reports. Chief Miller and I talked quite a bit about that today, making sure that isn't a process that continues. Currently, I'm reviewing all the reports for District 2, Chief Miller, and I'm not sure who else is doing it for District 1. We kind of have those separated. I think I'm going to start keeping closer tabs on both agencies myself, but we're also going to train some of our other folks that work for us to also help do those audits, so when the two of us chiefs get busy, there's always someone that's going to back us up, which I think is kind of where we're lacking now, but we'll make sure that that gets fixed. And another thing, just to make you guys aware, probably a month or more, a couple months ago now, I said I went around to all the 8 folks and did a documentation class for them all. While I was doing that training, I learned that a lot of people have been starting IVs on every transport they go on, just to do it, because it's nice for the hospital and just because they have the staff to do it. I put a stop to that. That came from a situation I ended up in Cooney County when we got a Medicare audit. Medicare views, if you start an IV on a patient that doesn't really need it and you can't justify why you do it, and then you bill that as an ALS call because they have an IV, that's billing fraud according to Medicare. They don't care that it's convenient for the hospital, they don't care all of that stuff. It just, the patient doesn't need it, you can't bill for it. And so I'm not sure, at first when Jerry called me yesterday, I thought maybe that would answer some of the questions of why the rates are off. But I would have anticipated the ALS rate to drop a little bit and the BLS rate to go up. The ALS rate definitely dropped, but the BLS rate didn't go up, so that doesn't answer that whole question. But just so you know, we might see a little bit of flux from that. I don't want us to end up in an audit and be in trouble with Medicare like what happened at Cooney County. So I tried to put a stop to that when I found out that it was happening, so just FYI.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have, what's the procedure on, say they respond, they feel that maybe the person needs IV or whatever?
Uh-huh.
Do you have a doctor, like an ER or some doctor, you can call and just say, hey, this is the symptom, this is what's going on? And get approval from a doctor to do that procedure, so it would be covered?
We can call the doctor and get approval, but the doctor, the EMS provider should be able to determine if the patient needs an IV as much as the doctor. I mean, it's for low blood pressure or giving IV fluids, or you can't just start like a lock just to start it. And that's what was happening. It wasn't like they were giving IV fluids or giving meds. They were just starting the access point. Well, if you're not doing anything with that, you're not really helping the patient. And that's where we can't do those just
So you're
to
just
do
putting a
them.
port up?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, if they really needed IV fluids and we're hanging fluids or we're giving meds, well, then it's justified automatically. But that wasn't the case.
Yeah, like it's in the summer, they're dehydrated, or
Correct.
they've been lost in the mountains.
Right.
and they're
But if they
dehydrated.
aren't sure whether they should start an IV, they can absolutely call the ER on the radio and ask them.
And that would suffice to the Medicare?
Well, then at least they would know whether the doctor if the doctor would know if it was indicated, and then if he thought it was indicated, it would be covered.
I mean, just to
They
cover
would just
your-
have to make sure they document.
Just to cover your ass, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you know what John had to bring up?
I don't know what John had to bring up.
Okay, I know the new ambulance is going to get radios put in it tomorrow. Tires will be in Monday. Actually, tomorrow, if the radios are there, I'm thinking it's pretty much ready to go into service.
I know they were working today on getting the EMS stock put in it. I don't know if that was completed. There's a lot of moving parts to that. Because a lot of it's gonna come off an ambulance.
Does
Well-
it have to be inspected, Scott, before it goes into service?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Did we get that added to insurance?
Yes.
Thank you. So,
Yeah, so it's really, when the radio gets put in, as soon as they finish getting the equipment moved onto it, it'll be ready to go. So we're really close.
so that'll be a good thing. We'll have 5 running again. No. Yeah, and shake the table, Scott. So, I kind of jumped ahead, I forgot to introduce, we'll take the time now to introduce everybody on the Ambulance Service District Board. I'm Bruce Stambrucki, Chairman. Right,
I'm Frank Gabriel, Vice Chair.
Jim Shields, just here.
Trent Hahn, just a ward.
Jerry Brandt, Secretary Treasurer.
Mark Lamont, former fire chief.
Scott Dietrich, District 2 Fire Chief.
not present is Shel Truesdale, board member, sorry Lori, and Mac Pooler, board member.
Lori Teeters, Administrative Assistant.
And then we will, I think that's all we've got, isn't it? Somebody else is missing.
John.
Hmm? Oh, John Miller, Fire Chief, District 1 is on a call. So, go into board member updates. Start with you, Frank.
I don't have anything this time, thank you.
I got a couple of little things. Scott on V9, that was the one that was in, pass that around. Good. I just wondered, I noticed V9 and then V2, the one that had the blown motor. Got the little ding in the doors or something, the old station or something, or?
The ding in the door, I think that happened
Right
at the
across the,
hospital. I
where
think
the lock.
right on the edge.
Yeah, right on
I think that happened at the hospital.
okay. So, just curious. I noticed there was two of them and they're identical to the same, so I just thought maybe it was in the old station or something,
No, I think it's where they, get out at the hospital when they're,
where them piers
where they're
are.
going side by side,
Okay,
and they get in a hurry with a code or whatever, and they open it.
So- we've got new ambulances. Please, if anything going wrong or you got an inkling, chiefs, just call Zach or myself or Shell and let's get them rotated in. He's got the capabilities with a nice warm shop, or he said he's building a vehicle for service, so he can come down to the shops or to the districts and look at them. And you guys can go into that pretty good. He's got a good, he keeps our fleet in Osburn going pretty good, so.
Okay, great.
Board members, thank you for serving, and Mr. Gose, our new commissioner, is here to learn. We had a meeting with him Tuesday, and Tracy wasn't there, but Jim was. So they're here to learn. They kinda look like deer in the headlights when we started throwing all this stuff at them, and they asked some real good questions, so. Dave, while the board's here, you got anything you wanna ask us?
Appreciate your service and look forward to working with you guys. I think, Tracy has volunteered to try and be at as many of your meetings as she can. She wasn't available this week, and I wanted to catch up and learn all about you guys and figure out, I'd like to see the new ambulance and kinda excited to see that, so just wanted to be here to start the learning process. Thank you, everybody, for having us, we appreciate it.
Just in time, Sean.
Yeah, sorry. Duty calls and shorthanded.
That's right. Everything went well, I hope. I kinda gave you an update on your tires and ambulance radios, and that was it. So you can take over from there.
Sure. I'm not 100% sure what Bruce said, but we've been filling them in pretty well with what's going on. As far as new ambulance is concerned, we did get a bunch of supplies ordered. We did get quite a bit of that in, so the stocking of it has begun. There's not much left necessarily to stock. We did order tires for it. I'm sure Bruce talked about the tires that came on were not very well suited for this area, especially this time of year. They're expected to be in on the 23rd, and already have that set up to get put on. Horton did come to install the lift system about 2 weeks ago maybe. However, they were concerned that the cradle part could have been overextended, so they weren't very comfortable with installing it. Called the striker rep, he came out, and what should have been a 30-minute project install turned into 3 or 4 hours. So I do have that gentleman's name. He definitely went above and beyond, but he did get it in. It does work. It is charged. It's been tested multiple times, so that's good. J&R is supposed to, I got a call from them today, and they're coming in tomorrow to install the radios. And hopefully, if everything goes as smooth, tires get put on, I think we're looking at maybe one week, maybe 2 before it's in service. Only things that we might need on it only did come with 2 electrical outlets in the back that aren't placed very well for some of the equipment we have. So I might inquire about what the cost is to get maybe 1 outlet in a different area, but I don't think that would hamper getting it in service and getting the ball
Is it something we need to address for the new one?
I can talk to Chief Dietrich about it a little bit, and I think it's just more the placement of where it is. I would believe Atlas is where we would go to potentially do that as well. I can also talk to the J&R guy tomorrow and see if that's something potentially that we can do. Other than that, it's getting really close. Everybody's pretty excited. They're already going through the USB jump drive that came with it and how to do this and how to do that. You guys have obviously seen it. It's all electronic and all button activated, which is very different. So I want to make sure the crews have enough time to do their own research and play around with it before we just put it in service and they figure it out on the fly. So It is very sophisticated, but very nice.
Is there gonna be any credit on those takeoffs or anything like that, this?
They want to give us $50 a rack, so we're just, we'll keep them. We've got a storage rack we put in our parking garage over there, so they'll be stored right there. If we need them, we got them. And that's the only one, of course, was 19.5s, so the other ones were all 17s. Jim, you got anything?
Nope.
Trent? Gary? Mark? Thank you. Thank you for your service. And well appreciated, helpful. Don't be a stranger.
Oh, I won't.
John, you got anything, updates?
No, I've got stuff for Mr. Brands. SWOT analysis from our group. I think the crews we've got an ice rescue coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're working on environmental emergencies for the season and getting prepared for that.
Scott?
I have nothing else.
Lori?
Nope, good.
I make a motion, we.
I heard him thinking.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Gary?
Michelle wasn't here to give me that look.